Hey guys, welcome to the 14th episode of the Learning Podcast. And if you're unsure, it's a Singaporean podcast dedicated to learning something new from every single guest on this show. And today I have with me Andy, and Andy is someone I met through LinkedIn. And Andy, thanks so much for sending me this message, man.
Yeah, no worries.
So on this podcast, right, I think that if you have any inkling on e-commerce strategies, Andy here is a marketer as well in a HR company, and Andy's actually a father. So parenting is definitely something I really want to talk to you about, because I think it's rare lah. It's rare because I would always assume that at least people my age, right, would like settle down later in life, or what. I mean, that's maybe within my social circle. And yeah, Andy, for those listeners out there, right, could you give context of who you are and what you're currently doing?
So my name is Andy. So what I'm currently doing, I'm a digital marketer at a HR MNC company. What I do previously, I graduated from Nanyang Poly, so I'm not the conventional kind of a person. I spent 5 years, 2 years more than the rest of the people. So why did I spend 5 years? I did 2 years in digital media design. I majored in games design, so not the development side of things, but all the Photoshop, Illustrator, kind of developing a character and giving to the programmer to program. So I did that. The reason why I'm in it is because I couldn't get in any business course at the beginning. So I asked all the poly, can you give me just some course to enter before I go NS? I do not want to go national service without any diploma or any certification. So they gave me this course, I took it, and 2 years down the road I realized I can't make it. So
Maybe when you can't make it in terms of like grades, or were you more not interested in it?
I'm not the creative person. So I'm more of a
very
very practical.
creative, right?
Yes, I'm a very practical and pragmatic and business kind of person. That's why I wanted business course. But at my year, I think the cohort was pretty competitive, and my results couldn't get me into any business course. So I did 2 years in digital media. Then finally my form teacher, that's what we call her. She saw that I'm struggling. She came to talk to me, and she offered me a chance to interview with the business school principal at that time. So I took the chance. I went for the interview, but the caveat is that if I were to take on business course, right, I have to restart from year one, which I took it. It's a risk because I will be throwing away 2 years, and I'm not receiving any diploma from the digital media side, so I'm starting afresh. But 5 to 7 years down the road, I didn't regret it. So ultimately, I graduated in business diploma with merit, and subsequently I went to serve my national service. Then I went to Singapore Management University, where I graduate a Bachelor of Business Management, majoring in marketing.
Can I just one step at a time?
Yes.
During your poly days, right? Within your could you just share with me the thought process of jumping ship? Because I think there's some people might want some people are just scared of just wasting time. Because I wouldn't say wasting time, because in my perspective, I think it's really just taking the time to consciously do what you want to do. Because if you were to spend 3 years and graduate, then that's the end of it.
Yes.
Can you share with me a little bit more detail into how you transition, or at least you overcame? Would you talk to your family and friends? I'm sure your friends were like, what are you doing? You live one more year, right? Then before you get it, you say no to 1 more year and you jump ship, right?
Yes.
How was the thought process like?
So I shared in the beginning, right at the very beginning when I was 16 years old, right, I knew that I wanted to do business. I want to study something that's related to business, but I couldn't get it because of my grades. So it's just delaying the inevitable. My thought process at that time was that if I were to just carry on and graduate with diploma of digital media design, what can I do? To be very practical, in the design industry, they don't look at the diploma. They look at your portfolio. And as I think my portfolio is not as good as my peers, because I'm not that interested in design. I'm just really studying for the sake of studying. So why not pursue the passion? And if given the opportunity, why not take it? So I took it there.
For design, were you a very technical person in the first course that you did in Polytechnic? Do you do the designs?
So just to give a little bit
I'm not
context,
very
right? So what we study as a year 1 digital media design student, right? I studied this in Nanyang Poly. So first year is all very basic, all drawing, fine art kind of a style of drawing.
It's completely different from what you expected, right?
So I literally died there. I couldn't draw for nuts.
At which month did you realize, shit, this is not
right at the first lesson?
That's why it took you 2 years to
because I didn't have any opportunity. I just had to bite the bullet, stay on. tahan until I get an opportunity. So basically during the first lesson, I still remember the lecturer tell us there's this ball on the table with all the different lightings. So they will cast a shadow, right? So you're supposed to draw the ball and then you shadow it. I did really bad. I can't even shadow it properly.
Do you draw before you?
I mean, if you count stick figures, then yes.
I mean, this may be I'm not sure. Okay, I'll just ask you anyway. Like, would you consider yourself a victim of bad advice? Like, in a sense, who because you say like, or you're asking around like which courses in polytechnic to go to, right?
So actually, it's not of asking around, but rather I was submitting appeal letters to every poly except Republic Poly. I mean, sorry, it's not because Republic Poly.
Yes.
But it's just that I'm just giving all the business school a shot and then trying my luck to see if there's any poly that will accept me. Even if it's not business course, maybe I can start somewhere else and maybe get the opportunity to transit to business course.
So it's just about getting yourself in the foot first,
get
which is
the door.
important.
Yep. And I didn't want to go national service without any diploma or cert. That's why.
Okay. Then so when you made the transition, right, was it like a breath of fresh air?
I think it's a mixture of both. I was feeling nervous because I need to start afresh again, and I'm joining in halfway because the batch, they have gone through one semester. So basically I'm the new kid in the block.
But you're the 老教
I mean, in terms of age, but but it's still the same kind of jittery feeling you feel in the first day of school, and everyone has their clique to be in. I just sit myself at the back of the table. But thank God at that time there were two other new kids in the block that transferred in from different places. One came from JC and one came from the programming side of things. So I will share where did that lead to. So these are my two co-founders of my e-commerce.
So just clarify the timeline. Like, e-commerce was done prior when you were in NS or after NS?
I think towards the end of NS, maybe 2013.
When you first met them, like, what's the specific course called?
You mean for the business? Yeah, business management.
Or business management, right?
Yes.
I mean, how do you find the curriculum there?
I think I really love the part where when I was at year 3, they have this entrepreneurship day. So we have this mod called entrepreneurship where we sort of like think of any ideas out of the box to present to a group of industry panels, and they'll give you suggestion to whether this idea is viable or not, and if it's viable, how should you proceed to pursue it. So at that time, I think that was back in 2011 if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
So 2011, I mean, payment was still pretty physical, like cash, maybe cash card, credit card. There was no PayWave or nothing of that sort. So we were brainstorming and were thinking that, hey, why not let our identity be a form of payment? So we came out with this called Tap and Go. So basically just shop using your fingerprint. So you go to a store, you put your fingerprint there, and then the payment is done, then you just go. So
that's quite futuristic thinking.
At that point in time. So
at that point in time.
So I was thinking, why did I not pursue that at that point in time? So I think that was one of the regret. I mean, I have back in those days, because I was just thinking, this is just one project I have to get by, and then after that, I just graduate.
So you guys, it's mainly an ideation phase. Like, you guys didn't really like get your hands dirty to execute it, but it's just more of academic school project.
Correct. To get your mind thinking of the market out there, how can you improve the market out there, and what kind of a new product can you introduce to the market. It's just
crazy.
Research,
Are you a fortune teller? What other kind of crazy ideas did you guys come across, if any?
Okay, so right after we graduate, we are in our NS days. So me and the two new kids.
You still kept in
block,
contact with your friends?
Yes. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, we attended his wedding. We were his
that's
brothers.
so nice.
So who says friends can't do business together? Just that you have to. It's a fine line. Sometimes money do tear people apart, but I think if you manage it properly, it works very well. So we are still very much in contact, and in fact his BTO is very near mine.
So that's nice.
We'll be neighbors in future. So back to the topic. What other? Okay, so we were brainstorming in my co-founder's place. So we're thinking, okay, we are nearing the end of our army, right? NS, right? They are in army, I'm in police. So what should we do? Is there some projects we can do and try to be an entrepreneur before we go all our separate ways to university and ultimately to the working world? So we were brainstorming. One of it was carpooling. So at that point in time,
what year is this?
I think 2012.
This is freaking, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
similar.
Yes. So I think at that point in time, Grab wasn't heard of.
Yeah.
I think maybe Uber
was barely
was starting. So my friend, in fact, my that co-founder, he already started carpooling. So he was carpooling his classmates to school. He studied in SIM.
Like manually, is it? Like,
Manually. So they will pay him like a nominal sum, to cover so that, petrol and everything. So we were thinking, okay, we want to do carpooling, but all three of us are not technical.
Yeah.
We are all business management students.
Yeah.
So we learn how to manage a business, but we don't know how to build a technical side of the business. App development, software engineering, all this is completely foreign to us. Yeah, so we shoved that idea aside. Years down the road, when we get together, when we look back, we realize, hey man, we should have just gone with it.
You guys should really work on the next idea,
Yes,
like,
yes. Maybe when my house come, I'll invite them to my house. Now it's at my house, then we can start brainstorming again to see what we can do in the future.
When you were finishing poly, right?
Yep.
Like you immediately applied to universities. Like, is there a reason why you specifically chose SMU over the others, or?
Okay. So after my poly days, I know that I have to apply right away because it's much cheaper. Just throwing the tip out there. If you are graduating from poly or JC, right, just apply right away because they will charge you the school fee at that year you applied. If you apply when you are in NS or nearing the end of your NS, the price will have gone up by a few percent. So I mean that saved me like at least a few hundred to maybe a few $1,000.
Every savings. Matter.
So that's why I applied right away. I applied with all the university. So ultimately only SMU got back to me. So I went for the interview and all, and I got in. So I just carried on my education from there. Yeah.
Is there any interesting stories when you're doing your service in the police force? I'm sure there's a lot. What exactly do you do? If you're allowed to share, because I know this kind of details very sensitive.
So like what I mentioned, maybe top line.
Yeah, top line.
I think my first I served the MPCO. We are the guys that when you call 999, we will appear at your doorstep. Yeah, so we do the patrolling in malls in our full uniform.
I'm sure you guys you have seen shit.
Yeah, we have seen a lot. I mean, I think we cannot take the safety in Singapore for granted, and I think every single policeman out there really do their best. They really put their life there for the civilians and really answer to every single call that comes along with the professionalism that they have. Of course, we are not perfect. Sometimes sometimes they make mistakes and people post on the social media, but at the end of the day, their heart is for the people.
Okay, so moving on, right, after ORD already. How's
with
SMU?
the pink IC on the phone.
Pink IC ORD lo. How is SMU? Like
SMU,
there's
okay.
I tell you my stereotypical
Yes.
Because I'm from NUS, right? People say that SMU students, right? Wow, I can talk a lot. No action, because I went to group interviews before and I see SMU students. Wow, is it really true that everyone is really really bubbly? Everyone can really talk very well, articulate themselves very well, right? How is it like?
I think right at the start, right, we are sort of primed and trained into doing that because right at the start they interview every single candidate. So what happens is that I went through a writing test, a comprehension test. Right after that we have a group interview with 20 other students. So 20 of us in a
20
lecture.
students.
Yes.
I went to the interview, there was only 6. Okay, but
mine's 20.
Oh yeah, because yours was the first year batch probably.
Maybe.
Which year did you enroll in?
2014.
Oh yes, that's much earlier.
So we were in the lecture theatre with we call it seminar room actually, with 2 lecturers. So what happens is the lecturer will share, anyone want to share something about blah blah blah. Then everyone will start.
Raising their hand.
Yeah, so for me, I'm quite unfamiliar with that, even though I came from polytechnic. For polytechnic, we don't do that. I mean, we have class participation marks, but usually those marks for us to, maybe if we are B+, then maybe it pushes us to an A. But we are not relying 100% on class participation. So I was shocked. I was like, everybody is talking. So I was thinking, when is my chance to talk? Then until finally everybody said their piece, then the lecturer looked at me. Do you have anything to share? then that's where I start to share. I thank God for that day that the lecturer gave me a chance to share. If not, I'm not sure I can
like,
get to SMU.
Did it feel very intimidating for everyone, like just to raise
Definitely.
Oh,
I was like, wow, why is everybody so participative? I was really awkward at that time because I'm not sure how to share and whether what I share would make sense, would people laugh at me, that kind of stuff. So all this is going through my head as I formulate what I want to share. So finally, when it reaches me,
you knew roughly what to talk about.
Yes, I knew roughly. So the professor took a chance and said, do you have anything to share?
It's very nice of the professor, you know.
Yeah.
So as long as you said something of quality, then you would. I'm assuming you passed that.
I feel that they are not exactly looking for quality, but they are looking at how you formulate your thoughts and how you share the your solution to the problem that they are asking. For example, I think this is one of the most famous questions that people would think of when they prepare for SMU interview. Like, how many water bottles do you think can fill this room?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a kind of question they ask. But back at my interview days, they didn't ask this question. They asked like about creativity. You know, how do you pursue creativity? Do you think that, you know, educational institution should inculcate creativity in their curriculum? So this is the kind of question they ask. I was preparing for the kind where how many water bottles can you fill the room? Because that's the 10-year series that, you know, people prepare for when they go for a SMU interview.
Or like, is it online? Is it like find online what interview questions?
Yeah.
So like during your curriculum in SMU, right? I mean, how do you find the environment when you were studying there already?
So I would say poly, right, was like a stroll in the park for me.
Yeah, the difference.
But when I went to SMU, it was a marathon that only ends after you collect your cert. So it was sprinting, running, burning through projects after projects. The only time you get to rest is perhaps after you graduate. Because even during summer holidays, we are pursuing internship. And for SMU, we have 80 hours of community service to fulfill.
It's a compulsory thing.
Compulsory.
It's quite
you have
cool.
to fulfill 80 hours to graduate. Yep. And I'm very thankful for it because it sort of, I mean, I didn't have a liking for kids actually. Yeah, I didn't really like children. But because of the community service, I get exposed to children, not just in Singapore, but also I went to overseas community service in Philippines and Cambodia. That's where I get to engage with the children, and that broke the barrier and the wall between me and the children. So end up I have a kid now.
Okay. We'll get to that. I'm sure we'll get to that. But one step before, do you know the rationale of why SMU has this compulsory 80 hours of CI? I think it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you guys feel at that time. Like as a student, like wow, I need to attend this. But like, how do you guys feel? And what's the rationale behind this 80 hours? Are you familiar with it?
I would think the rationale behind it, right, would be to launch us in the kind of a servant leadership kind of a position, because I think at the end of the day when we come, and that's in line with their mission, they want to produce leaders for the society. And how do you lead a society if you don't understand how a society is functioning? And society, by society, I don't mean like, you know, just Facebooking and looking at what people comment on certain things, but rather you go down to the ground and you talk to different individuals from different background and understand what are they in lack of, and how can you as a future leader contribute to make their community a better community. So I think that is very good rationale that I really enjoyed my 80 hours. I did, I think, a total of 300 over hours.
Wow, 300 hours?
Yeah, because I really enjoyed the community service. It forces me to see things in a different perspective and make me appreciate what I have and the kind of education that I get to enjoy and get to be educated in.
Could you share with me some stories about this CIP program? So like, were you in a club? Do you organize it? Like, I was assume that it's mostly self-initiated, right?
Yes. So student clubs are a big thing in SMU. So we have a lot of student clubs, and I personally attended one overseas community service project, and then subsequently lead the next overseas community service project. Meanwhile, back in school, I also lead a committee in a community service club we call Catalyst. This club is present in SIM, NTU and NUS. But I understand for NUS you have a sort of like an overarching authority with community service. So the club is basically, what they do is not recognized by the school, but rather it's an additional thing for students to be involved in. So we do have contact with our NUS counterparts as well as NTU and SIM.
But
Yeah.
what you're saying is that it's officially recognized by like,
SMU,
SMU
yeah.
and by
That's the
sort of
difference.
why?
I think because you guys already have an arm to do community service, and why
like
should
an
they give
official
resources
arm.
to
True.
additional arm
From
to
an
do
from an institutional point of stance.
from institutional point? Yeah.
Like, can you share with me how is it like in Cambodia? You went to Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
Or was there any like moment, or it was a gradual experience that really community service is something that I like?
So I was in my first semester in SMU. So I was like thinking, okay, I need to find a community. I mean, those were the days where I just want to clear this.
I know that
hate
kind of
dealing
mentality.
with kids. They are so unorderly and they run around, they scream. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Then I came across this opportunity, this interview with one of the seniors. So they were organizing a trip to Philippines, Ilo. So I went for the interview. I got in because of my photography, because they were looking for a photographer.
Yeah.
So to document everything. So I got in because of that. So to me at that point in time, I was just trying to clear my 80 hours.
Yeah.
If you go on one overseas community service project, you technically clear the full 80 hours right away in that 20 days, because we'll be there for about 20 days. So I went for it. So we went down to Ilo. The community there was, I think they are quite okay, but we wanted to build for them a structure so that the kids can study in a more conducive environment. Yeah. So they were living in, bamboo houses with very limited space, and everything around them was like chickens and farm animals kind of a stuff. So we built a structure out of bamboo, and then we teach the kids, we try to interact with them, teach them science, the mentors in the Coca-Cola. And also separating oil from alcohol, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a science part because I'm very bad in science. But what I do was I do my job. I document every single aspect of how the student interacted with the kids. And during those off moments when I'm not interacting with the kids, right, I will just be when I'm not photographing, I will just be looking through my photograph and curating and deleting those that is not
too nice.
not too nice.
That's not all.
That's what I was doing, right? So this kid will come up to me, say, Tito, can you show me? So Tito is uncle in Tagalog. So Tito, can you show me what are you shooting? So they can speak in relatively okay English. So I was like just showing, I'm shooting this so and so. Oh, this is so nice. Can you teach me? Then like I went to teach the kids. Then after that, through the engagement with them, I felt how they can give their love unconditionally, how kids can give love unconditionally to strangers. I mean, I'm a stranger to them. I came to your village, try to build a structure. Maybe I'll leave after 20 days and never come back. But yet they still gave their love to interact with us. And when we are eating, they cook for us. When we are trying to build a structure, we have to dig trenches. We have to dig mud. I mean, back in the police force, we don't dig trenches. So this is like a new experience for me. So I was digging soil, and they came to help. Whatever they can help, they just come and help. They do not just sit back there, look at us do things. They chip in, even though they are very small and they probably can only carry like very light amount of stuff, but yet they still contribute. And that's what moved me and broke the barrier.
Were there any more stories from Cambodia?
Okay, so Cambodia was the trip that I led. So back in the Philippines one, right, I was a participant.
So it was Philippines first. Then you
Cambodia.
led the Cambodia project.
Correct.
Okay.
So subsequently, the leaders asked who want to carry on, because in SMU we have this legacy thing. We have to pass on the project to the next batch so that there's continuity. So I decided to take the stand and take the commitment. So I told my leader, okay, I will just do the next project. And I think for the unique selling USP of our project is that we don't go to the same place twice in a consecutive year, because we already built a structure there, so now it's good and up and running. We are looking at different places to go in to help. So Cambodia pops up, and we have a Singaporean contact there with Trailblazer. So we work with them. They brought us in. We have a guide and everything. So it's the same thing. We were working with children. Just that this orphanage It's a place where it's well funded by the foreigners. So the foreigners actually already came in to build certain structure in place. But now what they are lacking is maybe a sick bay, because the children there, when they get sick and they are staying in the same room, it's sort of spread within the room and everyone gets sick together. So they wanted a sick bay. So back in Philippines, we built bamboo structure. But now in Cambodia, right, it's a new experience for me because we are building bricks. So we are laying bricks, putting the cement and laying brick by brick, building up. Of course, the roof and all, right, we leave it to the contractors because as students we are not trained in that and it's quite dangerous. So we do what we can. We build the bricks, we paint it, and then we draw something on the house, and then we have different activities planned for the kids. We went to school with the kids. The kids brought us around their school, sit in their classroom. Obviously it's not lesson time, so we just see what they do during normal school day, where do they play, what kind of games do they play, and then we interact with them from there. So it's a totally different experience than in the Philippines.
Then moving on, you say you pursued some community projects of your own, right? Was it after SMU as well, or?
So within SMU we have a student club called Catalyst. So I served there for I think all 4 years of my university life. Of course, in university there were two main teams. One is entrepreneurship and one is community service. So I'll touch on the community service part first. So for community service, we organize local community project. We work with Beyond Social Services. We work with THK. With the kids, we also work with Minds. Recently, the undergrads, of course I already graduated, but I'm still in contact with the undergrads. So they work with Minds. I think just a few months back, we brought them to Gardens by the Bay. So I actually joined them for the trip because I think I was quite free on that weekend and wanted to do something. So I said, hey, can I hop onto your trip? Maybe I can help, or maybe I can contribute my photography skills. So I just hop on and I interact with the Minds because I have never interact with anyone from Minds before. That means people with intellectual disability. So it's a fresh experience for me because I have a how do I put it? Before I even went there, my thought was that, okay, how should I interact with them? They seem quite violent, but when I reached there and I talked to them, they are just like us. They are just normal. Just that maybe at a certain point in time, they cannot control their emotion. They get more excited. They get more sad than any normal human being. It's just that their emotions are on a heightened level than us. So we just have to sort of go down to their level and then talk with them and understand where they are coming from and be patient with them. And they are really an enjoyable bunch. So and they are very near my house. So if you are looking to do volunteering with Minds, right, they are always looking for volunteer. Feel free to hit me up and I will connect you with the relevant person.
Concerning volunteering, so you guys will just organize activities so then on a weekend just go somewhere, or even maybe it's at their place to just do some activities, teach them new stuff.
Correct. So at the start, right, I think I was in the transition period. The first 2 years of my university life, right, we were dealing with one-off project. So our project works in such a way where
it's not continual, right?
It's not continual. So we work with the same beneficiary. So we do 3 big events: pre, main event, and post event. So we'll have the main event where it's a big day. We bring the kids to walk around MBS, make them play certain games that we set up as game stations. But there was no continuity. So when I reached year 3, right, the school had a different mandate. The school wanted all the community service club to have a form of a continuity, like a more consistent weekly basis kind of a thing, rather than a one-shot, one-off, and then you say bye-bye, and there's no connection, and there's no relationship built over there. So what we did was we worked with Beyond Social Services. We established what we call Project Illuminate. So basically we illuminate them in terms of their studies. So we got our volunteers to go down every Friday to teach the kids, to do homework with them. After doing their homework, they will play like sports with them, soccer, maybe some board games, etc. So I think that sort of built the relationship between the volunteer and the kids, because as an organizer, I already have I have more interaction with the kids in the sense that we will go down recce, talk to the kids beforehand. But as a volunteer, you are just coming in to fulfill your hours, to do the manual work, maybe to bring the kids walk one round. That's it. But what we realized when we conduct this consistent a weekly thing, right? They form deeper bonds with the
Yes,
kids, and the kids
definitely.
recognize the volunteer, and they will call out to them. And every time after each project, right, after the close of the project, maybe it's about 6 months.
There's always an end date, right?
Yeah, there's always an end date. So
yeah.
after the end, you know, some of the volunteers actually will want to continue. Some of the volunteers will actually want to come back. So I think that is a very good experience for both the volunteer and the kids. Yeah.
Wow, that's very touching. NUS, what are you doing? Why is there
No,
no?
I'm sure NUS they are doing stuff. It's just that it's not on a bigger scale as what we do.
Oh,
because it's not
okay.
compulsory, right?
Yeah,
because
no, the thing's not compulsory, but I mean, okay, every time when we are like forced upon certain things, right? Sometimes you still get the benefit of it, like on hindsight, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, maybe because when you enter as fresh university graduates, what we think, oh wow, them side everything, but it's upon all these kind of like forced things that I would say that it's definitely beneficial, right?
I think when we go into our university, right, we sort of fall into a mold where we just want to mark our way through and get as good a grade as we can and finish it as soon as we can. Get a job and then go into the corporate. But I think at the end of the day, right, when you look at SMU, the difference with SMU is that they really put us in different sphere. You cannot just be good at your curriculum. You must also be good in your CCAs. You must fulfill your 80 hours and take on some leadership role. And recently I heard they enforced the rule where every single student have to go overseas. You have to be an overseas citizen.
I heard of this before.
Yes, which I think is very good because you cannot just be a
Stuck.
Singaporean student just knowing how Singapore work. But when you enforce the international mindset on the student, they get to experience different culture and they are more acceptable of a different culture. Because I was brought up like even before I go NS, right, I was brought up in a Chinese community. So I never engaged with anyone from different races. It's just Chinese. When I go NS, I interacted with the Malays because most of them are in the police force. I'm not sure, maybe. So I learned Malay from them and they also learn Chinese, like Mandarin from me. And we have a very good cultural exchange and I understand, you know, how they need to pray 3 times a day and on Friday they have to visit a mosque to pray and how we can be more considerate to them, to a different race, rather than just be fixated on your own race. Anything outside of your own race, you know, I don't think that's, you know, I want to get involved in. That's not a very healthy thinking. I mean, basically because Singapore is a multiracial, right, and we have a lot of people coming in from different countries, and we have more and more opportunities working with people from different nations. From France, I mean, I interacted with an intern in France, I mean in my current workplace, and it's a different kind of a cultural thing. And I think it's good to get the student involved and to be able to get them out of their home and then out of their comfort zone and then be involved in somebody else's culture.
So for yourself, did you spend like a large amount of time overseas aside from doing CIP?
No, actually, I seldom travel. So before I came to SMU, right, I literally did not travel for over a decade. So
a decade?
I did not travel. Okay. So once I came to SMU, I traveled so much. I think I traveled at least 6 times more than I ever traveled in my life. When I'm in SMU, OCSP. Then after that, I shared with you the business study mission that we have. Just to give a little bit of context for the business study mission, is basically like a module. So what this module entails is that we consult with the tech startup back in Atlanta, USA. We will use the semester to conduct market research to understand their product and then give a proposition or not say a solution, but propose what could be their next step in terms of maybe marketing or in terms of product development. So at the during our winter break, which is the December period, we will fly over there and then each group will present to the startup.
Which part of the United States?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Was it your first time in the US?
Yes.
How was it like?
Wow. I think it's sort of like...
Tell us the American dream.
Yeah, the American dream, right? I mean, I think one of your guests shared the American dream, right? Okay, so basically, like, I feel that they are all very free in the sense that they are no boundaries in their thinking. Like for Singapore, right, we are trained to set boundaries in our thinking. Let's say if we want to do this, we have to think. Let's say if you want to have a business, we have to think, do I have the capital? Is this business even viable in Singapore? But for them, it's like MVP. Just do it.
Just do it.
Okay. And then just do it. Get the MVP. Go to market. Let the market tell you the result. Instead of you formulating in your mind whether will it work or will it not work, you come out with the MVP and go to market straight. So that is why...
Okay, for those listeners, what is MVP?
Most viable product. That means the most basic of product you can come out with. Let me give you an example. For example, this startup I think called Anywhere. You know, Anywhere where you can book a travel.
Is it a Singaporean startup?
Yes.
I know about that.
So yesterday, because of my work, we were sharing the tech landscape in the ACE. So I sat in and listened to all the different startups share their experience. So for Anywhere, right, both of the founders, they are not techies. So what they did was that they developed their product using a free website. So basically, you go to their website and say whether you are interested to let them plan a very fun and
itinerary
exciting trip for you without you knowing where you are going. It's only on the day when you're at the airport they will tell you where you are going. So that's what they did. They just come out with a website. So that website is like a MVP. It's not a website that have fantastic UI, UX and maybe very good engineering sort of a website, but it's a basic free website just to test the market to see if people are willing to pay for this kind of service. So
they did get like a few...
Yes. Wow. And I think they have already done like thousands of trips and people have posted on their Instagram how they enjoyed the trip. In fact, my friend just went on one trip with them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yesterday. So I think that's a very cool way to kickstart your business. Not letting your thinking limit or set boundaries.
Just being open as much as possible.
Just be open. Just come out with a very basic MVP product. Go to market, test it. And if you feel that it's not working out, you pivot from there.
So that's the main difference between Americans and Singaporeans from your very short interaction with them.
From a very short interaction. And that, I must say, is my own opinion, is what I observe, because I'm not very into the startup space. I'm not those kind that I live and breathe startup. Every 24/7 I'm working on my product kind of a person. But it's from what I observe, because I was quite interested in entrepreneurship. I mean, I started the e-commerce thing with my poly friends. So I was just exploring maybe entrepreneurship could be an alternative route for me rather than going into corporate.
So moving on, right, from this, changing gears. Can you share with me more about your e-com entrepreneur endeavor? I think it's very interesting.
So so let's go all the way back to 2012, 2013. So we sort of hang out here and there, like me and the two new kids on the block, right? My poly friends. They are Travis and Caleb. So we went to Travis' place. We were sitting in his room, thinking, brainstorming. Then we were thinking,
was it like a conscious meeting?
We wanted to do something.
This meeting we're going to come up with like 10 business ideas and like really act on something.
I think we are not very
we
were just chilling and talking.
So not formal, not formal. Like, okay, we come and just talk.
We wanted to talk about business, but we are not those kind where, okay, guys, today the agenda of the meeting is that we must have 10 things.
Not so formal.
Not so formal. So we were just talking, hey guys, so how what should we do? I mean, besides playing Dota, all day long, maybe we can do a mini project before we go to university or before we go on with our lives. So we were brainstorming. We were sharing what kind of skill set we have as an individual, what kind of experience we have. And obviously at that point in time, Travis, he was already doing carpooling, but we couldn't do any carpooling app kind of a thing. We actually researched into whether we can build an app with zero tech background at that time. So we look for software, we try to enroll ourselves into lesson or online courses, but it proves too difficult for us. So we fired the idea. Wasted. So and then we ask ourselves, so what are we doing now? So we are in NS, right? Is there a need that we can meet in NS? What problem did we face before we enlist? So we came to think about it. Hey, maybe we can come out with a solution for people who are enlisting, who are unsure what they should bring and how they should expect NS to be. Because truth be told, a lot of people struggle on the first day of national service, on the first night, and they really don't know what to expect. And truth be told, when you talk to every single one that been through NS, they tell you different stories. Some good,
every single one of us is a completely different experience.
So we wanted to be the person to tell them this correct story. And just nice, all three of us came from different background. Travis was an officer, Caleb was a clerk, I was from the police force. So we basically covered all grounds.
Yeah,
in
the big
essence.
spectrum. Yeah.
Correct. So so we start to think, okay, we wanted to do this. So what kind of product can we give to these people? You know, because as a business, you ought to make money, right? You can't just do this for free. So we set to think, maybe one of the easy way out as of now to test the MVP is to come out with a assortment of boxes, because back in those days, I think crates or box, you know, I think I ordered this fashion box before, where they deliver you on a monthly basis clothes, and then you see which one you like, which one you don't like, and you send that back. So we sort of thought that why not we put together a box of NS necessity. So we help them save time, we help them save money, because as we buy in bulk, so it's cheaper, and we also deliver it to the comfort of their house, so they do not have to leave house and they have more time to spend with their family before they enlist. So we started to do our research. We went to the army market, we asked every single store, we compared prices, and ultimately we found a supplier, and then we start to do it. We put together a box. Now we have the product. How should we market the product? So Caleb went to do up a website, and then we start to put our things up there. What is NSCP, register of domain, PayPal account, etc., payment methods. For me, I went to think and see what kind of partnership can we form so that we can put our name out there as fast as possible. So I tapped on my resource, which is school, because school is the one place that people, before they go NS, they will come from school.
Junior college, polytechnics.
Yes, but junior college, they are not so open to us because we are nobody. So so we started with NYP. We did roadshow. The teachers were very supportive, and ultimately somehow the news got wind of us. So the Chinese newspapers start to report on us, and our business just grew. We did organic SEO. We also did AdWords to support it, and then ultimately from the third page we became the first page. Even right now, after I closed the operation, we ceased operation, people are still calling me. Somehow when they Google what to bring for NS, there we are. So that's the journey.
What are the kind of lessons that you learned from this venture?
Okay, so this is I would say the success part, because we did make a profit out of it. But the not successful part is that we wanted to go in retail, because we had a sort of an opportunity to go into the retail space at a very low cost, because we were students to be, and we are not exactly working full-time anywhere. So I think at Scape, right, they do provide such opportunities for student entrepreneur. So from what I know, that one of the SME entrepreneur has a shop there, and she's doing pretty well. So we got a shop there at Scape. We started at Bugis. At that point in time when we started retail, right, we are already schooling, and we have no time to sit there during the retail hours, so we have to hire somebody to sit there, and that cost us a lot, and ultimately retail didn't work out for us. So that's one lesson learned, right? It's not to just jump on every opportunity that comes your way. Take a step back and think whether should you hop on the opportunity, because opportunities are out there, but not all opportunities are for you, and there's always a right opportunity at the right time. And if you don't, and you just follow exactly where the wind blows you, sometimes you'll end up great, but more often than not, you will end up losing money.
How long were you into as in this period of trying out the retail? Because some people say, you should just try things, but try things not at the expense of too much of you.
I think we did about
how long were you guys?
At least half a year.
Half a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically lost most of the money we make from this e-commerce.
So retail.
I would not say retail is dead. I would not say retail is dead, because I do not believe retail is dead. People still need some form of retail experience. Just that maybe for our product, it's not very retail centric. It's not very drawn unless we have some other products to complement our product. If not, I don't think retail will work out for us. But that being said, I'm sure there are a lot of shops out there that provide fantastic retail experience, and they are booming. So I would not say retail is dead.
Like you guys moved from online to retail. Usually it's the other way around.
Correct. So we were doing online, and we wanted to get our hands dirty and experience retail, and we did, and
learning experience.
It's a learning experience. So we lost most of money there, but I mean at least we learned. not too bad.
Okay, just changing gears, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what have you learned as a father?
Okay. So,
Like, I mean, the thought process, I mean, basically the whole process, maybe talking to your wife about having a family, all that kind of stuff. Because at least I can say within my social circle, right, it seems like no one really wants to settle down that fast, even for guys and girls.
yeah, I think I do. I mean, after I graduate from university, I think before that I have already the mentality to have a kid. I think back then my idea was to get married at 25 and then have kids maybe at 27, so that the age gap between me and the kids would not be so big, and I would still have some energy to play with them. So that was my plan, but things don't always work according to plan. So I ended up spending 5 years in poly, right? And then when I reached uni, I'm already like 25 years old. So how can I get a kid and have my wedding when I'm still studying? I do not have an income. So I put back the plan, and ultimately after I graduate, I have a kid now, right? So my thoughts on being a father is that it's always on the job training. You will never be ready for it. As much as you plan, people like to say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? You can never plan 100%. You can buy all the things from baby fair, you can set up your room, baby proof it, but there are always things that you miss out and things that you can only learn on the job. But what I can assure you is that at the end of the day, it's a different kind of experience that I have never experienced before, because it's my own child. Watching her grow up, watching her smile, when I play with her, it's like it warms the heart. And I don't know how to explain it, but all the late nights and all the hard work put into it, all the finances put into it, I think it's worth it, because just watching her grow up healthily, I think that's the best gift a kid can give to a parent. And as a father, I think I still have a lot to learn, and I'm learning alongside my kid. I mean, I'm learning from her as well as she's also learning from me. So we are learning from each other.
What are the kind of big factors would you, let's say, advise people who are thinking of having a baby, right? What are the important things that they should think about?
Okay, because I'm a very practical person, right? I will always say you need to plan ahead.
A mix of a little bit of planning, but at the same time you still cannot control it.
Correct. So what I mean by planning ahead is in terms of finances, because having a child in Singapore is no joke. I mean, it's $1 million investment. I mean, throughout the child's life. I mean, I'm assuming you're putting the child through university as well. So this child is your.
When you say $1 million, is it like literally calculated?
I read somewhere that they calculated, from the birth all the way to after they graduate from university. Cost you $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you factor in the present value and future value of money, it costs you $1 million. And at least now I'm a millionaire. My asset is growing. Provided it has,
definitely, I'm sure it will.
Okay, so back to like how you should plan, right? I think first thing is always the finances, because people always quarrel over finances. It's always the lack in finances that cause disagreement, cause strife. So what you need to do is to sit down and ask yourself, if you want to have a kid, even before your wedding, right? Even before you think, so before, you cannot just think about kid after your wedding. You have to think right before. So I actually thought right before. So before my wedding, I have a choice of doing a wedding in a hotel or on buffet. So I knew that right after my wedding, I would try for a kid soon. So if I were to have a hotel, I would be in debt.
Okay.
So
can you give me I don't even know how much like a night at a
so
hotel
for
costs.
hotel, right? Hotel dinner costs typically 40k, 35k to 40k. So as a student graduating with student debt, I don't want to put on a wedding debt. I'll be in debt for all my life. Then so that's where I sit down with my wife. Thankfully, she's very understanding, and her parents are also very understanding. My mom was also very understanding. So they are okay with us doing with what we feel that we can afford. So we did buffet, and everyone had a great time, because they didn't have to come packing their ang pao according to the dinner price set by the hotel. There's this content that is going around, like if you're going for this wedding, how much will you pao, that kind of stuff.
It's like a very sensitive stressful thing, right?
Because you want to help the couple at least break even, rather than them being in debt after they have their wedding. So most of us will research before going to a wedding, how should I give. But for me, I did buffet, so it's relatively light, and it didn't give me any debts. So after my wedding, I was ready financially for a kid because I don't have any other debts to clear.
Oh,
So when I was planning for the kid, right, I think planning financially wise, you need to set aside at least 10 to 15K for the kid because of all the checkups and all. Obviously, you can go to a public hospital, but if you can afford it, why not try? I mean, I went to Thomson because my finances allows it. But if not, public hospital are good as well. So there's no worries about that. And then after that, it's all the monthly checkup, followed by all the nutrition, all the supplement that my wife has to take. And thank God my wife didn't have any hunger craving, in random nights.
No way?
Yeah, no.
So it's a
So-
stereotype thing.
Yeah, so I'm very blessed. I was very blessed. So I didn't have to drive out in the middle of the night to find don't know bak kut teh from somewhere and then deliver back home. So anyway, now we have Grab food, right? So there's no need to travel out. Can just Grab food. So that's for the financial side of things. Next, you need to think psychologically and emotionally. Are you ready to have a child? Because when the child comes, it will disrupt your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you have a routine? Are you building up to a routine to be able to have this new human being in your life?
Yes.
Some of us, we are so used to living a single lifestyle, a single's lifestyle.
Yeah.
So me and my wife, we always watch weekend movies, late night movies, chill with our friends, as and when we like. But now we have to be at the whims of our baby girl. So are you ready for that? If not, don't have a child. Yeah. Because once you have it, you pour all your time and energy into her. If not, he or she may grow up to be, I wouldn't say different, but rather,
rearing a human being, right? It's
Yeah.
so damn complex.
Yeah, it's
To
different.
me, it's like the biggest.
You can read all the books
Yeah,
out there,
Yeah.
but when it comes to really doing it,
Yeah.
even right now, I have some fear bathing my baby girl because I don't dare to handle her when she's like wet with water because I have this fear that she might slip and then hit her head or something. So I'm still struggling with this fear, which I hope to overcome when she's bigger and don't move around so much when bathing time. So I'm still trying to overcome it. And I think at the end of the day, the next thing you have to think of, do you have an ecosystem to support the child? By ecosystem, I mean that do you have family or friends that you can help you if the night comes where you say, hey, I need a date night with my wife, my two of us need a time off. Is there anyone out there that can look after your child for you when you go on your date nights? So these are very important 3 things that I feel that you should consider before you have a child. Yep.
What is a practical parenting tip that you can give?
Practical.
Practical. Like, that's not as in like I have, because I previously asked some of my friends who have children already, then they say like, when you shower a kid, right, don't put the towel, don't wipe their face for them, or don't
I feel that there is no one method that works for all kids. I think it's like I take the approach with my kid the same as I take my approach to how I market, how I do marketing.
Wow,
it's
a
always
business. It's really a
test,
business.
test, get the result, pivot, test, get result, pivot. It's always like this. I think my wife read books upon books during her confinement period, but yet there are still
confinement period. Is that a legit term?
Yes.
Okay.
So 1 month. So they have to stay at home for 1 month and do all those confinement stuff. So she read all the books, but somehow there are still things that are not answered and things that don't work out exactly to what the book is saying.
It's written in a different context, or like Western parents, or like
Of course
Caucasians,
there are
cultural.
there are different methods. There are methods that is confirmed 100% can work, but yet more often than not, I think at least 80% you have to experiment it, and then if you fail, then you pivot.
Every
your
child
way
is
of doing
different.
it. Every child is different, and you shouldn't treat every child the same, because I think we are not making robots or machines. We are making a human being, and every single human being has their individual demands, and how they deal with things are totally different. So yeah.
At what age, right, can you, like, at least for yourself, your child is like 7 months?
Yeah.
Is there any inkling of like what kind of personality that can show? Selma is super young, right?
Yeah.
Like when talking to doctors, or this, at what age would you expect to see? I know you're not a doctor, but would you expect to see a personality of a child?
I think right at the start, you will start to see, because when they how they demand for milk. Are they patient? You know, some babies they will just Then after that, you know, okay,
different
they want
pattern
milk.
one, is it?
Some babies like cry and cry like some fire alarm,
Okay,
and they
okay.
won't stop until the
Okay.
milk is there.
Oh, okay.
So from there you can see like whether your
So what are the
baby-
small personalities that your daughter is showing?
I think she likes to talk
Oh,
because
she likes to talk. Oh,
at
what?
3 or 4 months, right? Because her cot is right beside my bed.
Yeah.
So she will in the morning she will just wake up and talk in her baby mumbling language
okay.
just by herself.
Okay.
And I it sounds scary, come to think of it. But
Why?
because she's talking to herself into space and there's nothing there just except a ceiling.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
So I feel that when she grow up, right, maybe I'll send her for a speech class to train her communicative skill because I think
It's all these small signs that
all these small signs, and I think as parents, right, you need to be like a coach. You need to explore her potential, bring out her strength, but yet also let her know these are the weaknesses that she can work on, and then just embrace her. Some parents they have a fixed mindset, like because I play guitar, right? Then maybe as a parent, I would expect my girl to play guitar as well, because I play guitar.
Yeah.
But some child are just not musically inclined.
Yes.
You cannot force your ideals on the child. So I think I'm still learning to see what are the strengths that she has, and then me as a parent, my job is to develop a strength so that she can become a confident woman. Yeah.
10 years from now,
Yeah.
your daughter is watching this.
Hi Eva.
What's her name?
Eva.
Eva. What will you say to her?
I would say I hope that I'm doing right by you. I hope that you are enjoying your life as much as I wish that you are enjoying, and that everything you need, I hope that I'm able to provide, and that you enjoy my dad jokes and hanging out with me. I hope 10 years down the road I'm the cool dad and not the kind of dad that breathe down on you so hard, want you to be home by 10. I hope by 10 you are already an independent woman, knowing what you want to pursue, and most importantly of all, I hope that you love yourself and you love the people around you. Yeah.
She's definitely gonna cry when she's watching this. I feel so emotional already.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so ending off on this podcast,
Yes.
right? I always like to ask like a very cliche question, right? Looking back on how your life has turned out as a young Singaporean, as a young dad now in Singapore, what would you say to yourself when you were, let's say, is there anything that you could have said to yourself at 15 years old that would make a significant impact in how you thought in that period? Because sometimes when you talk to a 15-year-old child, right, like no matter what you say to them, right, it's like, old man, old man.
Yeah,
like what looking back, like how your life has panned out, what would you say?
I think I will ask my 15-year-old self not to be too emotional. I think when I was 15 years old, emotions always get the better of me. I make rash decisions, harsh decisions because of my emotions. But yet, that being said, right, I feel that no experiences is a waste experience. So whatever I do now is a result of what I did in the past. And I think I have no regrets when it comes to that. That is why I would not say anything else to my 15-year-old self except to say thank you for helping me experience.
That's nice. You have to go through what we went through to be who we are today.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, Ken, thanks so much, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no worries.
And yeah, we should probably catch up once in a while to just see how we
Yeah.
are at certain points in life. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much.
Yes.